The evidence seems to indicate that you're watching Dolly Vision.
Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, best around town known. Dolly Vision headlines, King the Beat. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shining, echoes in the night. Rock the truth while live on air light. Top it up, Dolly Vision's dreaming real. True crime scene flash feel so unreal. YouTube madness like share, subscribe. Jack's on fire, burning the world's fire. Where's the baby missing shadows crawl? People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, best around town known. Dolly Vision headlines, King the Beat. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shining, echoes in the night. Rock the truth while live on air light.
What up, YouTube, and welcome back to Dolly Vision. Okay, we finally got a new update from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police in Nova Scotia on Jack and Little Lily, okay? And thank you to all you guys that watched my video, Daniel Exposed. We're going to go over both of those things here with you guys today. So if you don't know the update or if you ain't seen the video, you in the right place. But first, of course, I'm going to need your DNA on file just in case you go missing in the hills of Tennessee or in the deep woods of Nova Scotia. Dolly's going to come track your ass down like Dog the Bounty Hunter, but I'm going to need your DNA on file, right? So make sure y'all like the video, sub up. We're less, and I mean less than 100 people away from hitting 66,000 people. Damn, that's a lot of folks, right? And we're doing a huge giveaway to one of our subscribers. At the end of August, we're giving away a brand new iPhone 16. And if you're subbed up, you're already in the giveaway. You ain't got to do anything. And if you ain't subbed up out there, guys, sub up, ring the bell for notifications, and feel free to share my ugly face on any social media platform you choose. Now, let's jump right into this update. Let me share the screen. And this is from the Canadian Royal Mounted Police. All right. And it basically says, as the missing person investigation into the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan continues, the RCMP is appealing to the public for additional video footage. Okay. They need more footage. Investigators have collected hours of video from the area surrounding Lansdowne Station. Based on the details we gathered so far, we confirmed that Lily and Jack were observed in public with family members. It don't say the mom and dad. It says family members on the afternoon of May 1st, says Corporal Sandra Mataru. I don't know how you say her last name. Northeastern Nova RCMP Major Crime Unit. We're now asking anyone with dash cam footage or videos along Gearlock Road between 12 p.m. on April 28th and 12 p.m. on May 2nd to contact us. Investigation remains committed to exploring all possibilities surrounding the children's disappearance. To date, more than 355 tips have been received and are being followed up on. RCMP officers have also formally interviewed over 50 people, with more interviews planned in the coming days. Okay, they're on top of it. Investigators' work is ongoing following a large-scale ground and air search that began immediately after the children reported missing on May 2nd. Hundreds of searchers, multiple dogs, a variety of drones, an underwater recovery team, and several aircraft scoured a heavily wooded 5.5 square kilometer area before searching efforts were scaled back on May 7th. Additional searches took place on May 8th, May 9th, May 17th, and May 18th. Any further searches will be determined based on course of the investigation.
After a hard day, let's jump on the Dolly train. Turtle emoji, turtle emoji.
Thank
turtle
you,
emoji.
Claudia. RCMP officers from various teams are fully engaged in finding out what happened to Lily and Jack, and we're using all tools and resources to determine the circumstances of their disappearance, says the corporal. We understand people's desires for answers and updates. However, at this
Subscribe to
time,
help and show support for Dolly's channel. Don't forget to like, thumbs up emoji, 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 thumbs up emoji.
That's a lot of thumbs up. Okay, that's a lot of thumbs up. However, this is an ongoing investigation. We're unable to discuss details of our ongoing work. Anyone with information or the whereabouts of Lily and Jack, or who has video footage to share with police, is asked to call the Northeast Nova RCMP Major Crime Unit at 902-896-5060. This remains anonymous. Contact Nova Scotia Crime Stoppers at toll-free 1-800-222-TIP. Submit a secure web tip at www.crimestoppers.ns.ca or use the P3 tip app. Okay, so that is the most recent update on the kids. They were seen in public the day before they went missing. So a lot of us was thinking for a while that them kids went missing on Tuesday, right? But that's not the case. The kids were alive. They were with a family member, which is weird because you would think it last seen with the mother, last seen with his parents. It didn't say that. It said last seen with a family member the day before they went missing. Now, what family member is it? Now, I wish they would tell us what vehicles to be looking for, because they tell us they want dash cam. Well, it's hard to know if we have the right dash cam out there if you don't know which vehicle you're looking for on the dash cam. Now, I think they want, the video footage from the area to see if them kids ever went back to the house with that family member. Now, why do I get a feeling that the family member is Daniel's brother? Does anybody else get that feeling? Now, look, before we get all into this, let me give my warnings. Dolly Visions for entertainment purposes only. We talk news, rumors, gossip, speculation, theories, mixed with a little bit of comedy and a whole lot of chaos. So don't take nothing here as fact. Just my opinion, completely satire. The caller's opinions today are theirs and theirs alone, not to reflect on the Dolly. Everyone is innocent to proven guilty in a court of law, even the people we're talking about here today. Daniel's brother, his mother, and Malaya, all innocent to proven guilty in a court of law. And the biggest one of them all, don't try to be Dolly at home, okay? Considering the brother and mother have not spoke publicly, that I know of appears very strange to me, right? And they didn't say seen in public with the mother and stepdad, right? They said seen in public with a family member. What other family members are there, okay, that we know of? There's Malaya's mom, all right? And she's blaming Daniel. There's Daniel's mom, Daniel's brother, And these kids are missing. All right. Totally missing, gone. You know, my video earlier today was, you know, on Daniel, because I believe that there's more to this story. And I believe he's not being forthcoming, that he knows what has happened to these kids. Does Malaya know, right? Does she know what happened to these kids? Now, I don't know, right? But, you know, her family, of course, is blaming Daniel like he knows something. And they had a big domestic situation that went down outside that home, where the family is pointing fingers at each other. And Helena, thank you so much for that donation. I was in the middle of talking when it came through, but all you guys jumping on the Dolly train, thank you guys so much. And easy to be, becoming a member. Awesome. It's a great way to support the channel. And, you know, if you haven't watched my new video, I'm gonna run a little bit of it, because it cleared up a lot of these answers of some of the family dynamics in this and some of the suspicions we have against Daniel. Now, I completely believe at this point this has something to do with Daniel and his family, and I think the police are definitely closing in on it. Okay. It's pronounced Malaya. What did I say? Close enough. The damn baby mama. Okay, the damn baby mama. Listen, you know, there could be a fact that she knows, even if your husband or boyfriend, whatever you want to call Daniel, was to get rid of your child, wouldn't you be a little more upset than that, than she's actually appearing to be? So to me, I think all of them, I'm suspicious of all of them at this present second, okay? Because it just does not add up. And I want to go over little pieces of this video, which I want to do a little reaction to my own video, okay? That I didn't, things I didn't add in that need to be discussed in this video, all right?
Yesterday, the heart of the effort to find 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan. For 6 days, this area was busy with police, search crews, and volunteers. Now it's quiet, and the search teams are gone.
2 children vanished from their home in broad daylight. No screams, no broken windows, just their boots missing, and a stepfather whose story fractures with every word. What really happened to Lily and Jack Sullivan? May 1st, 2025, Gearlock Road, rural Nova Scotia. 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother Jack were reported missing from their trailer home. Inside the small, cluttered trailer, toys scattered on the floor, juice boxes untouched, their tiny coats still hanging on the wall. Nothing looked out of place except Lily's pink boots and Jack's blue dinosaur boots, which were missing. Daniel Martell, their stepfather, says he last heard the children playing.
You notice they don't even have printed photos of the kids. They printed this out on some paper, and it's not even really computer paper. It's like they printed these photos out of some damn, on a notebook pad, right? So they don't even have pictures of the kids. He's running around with some damn notebook paper with the 2 pictures of the kid. Why did he print both kids on one page? That's a little, you know, I don't buy it. And when this all comes out, this is going to have something to do with the family. It looks like they're starting to, you know, to home in on the family. They're giving you every clue they can humanly giving you without telling you that this family's involved. They've ruled out abduction. They ruled out the kids are in the woods. They're looking for video of dashboard cams of the family with the kids days before they went missing. They're telling you something right there, that this family's responsible, and they're closing in on them. In my opinion.
Morning, he saw Lily briefly in a pink shirt, then silence. He says the sliding door, nearly silent when opened, was ajar, and both children were simply gone. But it's what came next that raised red flags fast.
We're transitioning from a full-scale search to searches of more specific spaces that have already been searched by our teams. We're not packing up, and we're not giving up. Our investigation is broad, and it won't end until we know where Lily and Jack are and can bring them home.
Did you know you don't have to wait?
I got commercials. Okay. So, and this is another thing I wanted to touch on, is that the type of investigation it was a search. Then they took Daniel's phone, and then it become, they started,
strange timeline.
They started to draw back the search. Okay. They started to bring it back a little bit. And they said that they wanted to search locations near the house. And that's because I believe there were some things that were possibly taken from his phone. Now, I didn't know they were going to come out with an update today, which I think is good. I wish they would give, updates every day, honestly, me, myself. But I know that's not going to happen. But at least that we did get an update today, that the kids were alive the day before they were reported missing. But do we know if they went back home that day with whatever family member? You all assuming the school bus got cameras is wrong. We ain't even talking about the school bus having cameras. We know the kids didn't get on the school bus. So even if the school bus had cameras, it ain't going to pick up the kids. Okay. Because the kids wasn't there. The kids didn't go to school. It looks like the police believe now that the day before the kids were reported missing, they were with a family member. They didn't say the mom. They didn't say the stepdad. They would have said that. They said a family member. So that leaves Daniel's brother, his mother, and Malaya's mom, right? So one of those family members had the kids, and most likely with Malaya's mom, Malaya, mom being so upset, it sounds like she didn't have the child. So that only really leaves Daniel's mother and his brother to be the family members that these children were with. And everybody already thinks his brother's creepy, right? I think we can all agree that his brother is super damn creepy. And these children are missing, and they want video from that day on Gearlock Road, because you know why? Because they want to see if these kids ever returned home that day. I'm thinking they didn't. The bio dad is family member too, but they would know if the children left with the bio dad, because this is the day before, right? This is the day before. So just say the bio dad took the kids. They would know that they're with the bio dad. They didn't go missing the day before. They went missing that Friday morning on the 2nd. So they reported them missing, so they know what family member the kids were with. Why didn't they ever say anything? Oh, well, the kids went out with my brother or my mother yesterday. Then they came home. We fixed them dinner. You notice none of their story includes the night before. Does anybody notice that? That their story does not, they don't say anything about the night before. They don't talk about putting them to bed. They don't talk about brushing their teeth. They don't talk about laying them down to sleep. None of that. There's no story of the night before or the day before. Well, we had dinner. We had hamburgers and hot dogs. I gave the kids a bath. I made them brush their teeth. I put them to bed. How come we don't hear those stories? Right? Did anybody notice that? There's no day before. It's almost like the day before, that night, didn't exist. Thank you, Cable. I see people saying exactly, right? Because it's these little small things that you got to notice to put this puzzle together. Is they said nothing about the night before. What did Lily and Jack have for dinner? Does anybody know? I don't know, right? Do they know? Did they feed the kids dinner? Did they give the kids a bath? Did they lay them down to bed? Did they give Lily cough syrup because she had a cough? Did they read the kids a bedtime story? I think not, right? They don't exactly, Dolly. There's not, that don't even exist. That day in their mind don't exist, because they would have to lie and fill in the blanks. So instead of lying and trying to fill in the blanks, they don't say anything. They don't give you the whole story of the missing kid. Even in Sebastian Rogers' case, Katie told us what happened. They went bowling. They went to BJ's. They went out to eat. They came home. He was making noise in his room. He vanishes, right? But we know what happened that night in the Sebastian Rogers home, but these people never said anything. Anything. That night just did not exist to these people. And to me, that is a huge red flag. They never say what time they put Lily and Jack to bed. They never say what they were wearing when they put them to bed. Right? They don't say what they had for dinner. They didn't say they brushed their teeth. They didn't read them a story. They didn't give them any medicine. They didn't wake up to check on them the following morning. Why not? Why not? Because them kids possibly did right that night before never came home, and they're coming up with a story. And when we hear their story, it sounds scripted. Oh, they have autism. Oh, they would talk to anybody. Oh, they would get in a car with anybody. No, they got in a car with one of your family members, and now they're missing. I wish the police would have told us what family member it was. The RMC said afternoon the day before. Yeah, absolutely. So did they ever come back home? Because we don't know what they had for dinner. We don't know.
Why were they out at the stores but too sick for school? Something doesn't add up. And why did they say with family member like it's a secret?
Yes, absolutely, PJ. Absolutely. They were so sick that they couldn't go to school, but yet they're out with a family member. And I don't believe they ever came back. And that's why the RCMP are looking for dash cams and video footage of that road gear lock to see if they brought them home that day. But why didn't Daniel say what happened that day, right? Why didn't he say what happened Thursday? Thursday don't exist to these people. Just Friday morning. Friday morning, oh, we woke up and they wasn't there. But they don't speak anything on Thursday. They don't say, well, yeah, Lily wasn't feeling good. She had a little bit of a cough and she, we felt like, and we gave her some medicine and we kept her in bed all day. There's none of that. And thank you for jumping on the Blessed Express, babe, and that donation. I will spend it on you. Okay. I will give you your money back. So to me, these are more huge red flags, and they're narrowing it down. Her family, Dolly, I spoke on her family, the mother in that area, but the mother was blaming Daniel, okay, because you're going to hear in this video that they got in a dispute. Daniel's mother came outside and told Malaya to leave. Right. So she didn't just leave and pack up and get her shit and abandon her kids. She was told to leave, made to leave by Daniel's family. All right. So if y'all didn't watch my video today, y'all may not have knew that.
Has there been any proof about a party on Wednesday night?
Now,
I'm behind.
The party, we don't know for sure. That's still just alleged and rumors. Helena, thank you so much. But we do know now that CPS is involved. Daniel's mother came outside. It's about to get to that in this video, and told Malaya she had to leave because they were arguing and screaming in the front yard. So she kicked her off the property. She didn't just abandon her kid, maybe, but you got to remember this. Malaya would have knew that them kids wasn't there Thursday night. She would have knew that. Okay. She don't give, just same as Daniel. She don't say anything about the day before. Oh, well, I put them to bed, right? When did the kids go to bed? Nobody knows, right? I don't know. You don't know what they have for dinner. We don't know what time they take a bath. We don't know. Did you brush their teeth? We don't know. Because none of those things happened. That's why they don't mention any of it. To me, really sketchy. And I got a bad feeling about Daniel's mother and his brother And that is just my opinion, okay? Because it clearly says family member, like PJ said. Why they keep it in a secret what family member it was? Oh, with an aunt, with an uncle, with, you know what I'm saying? It just says family member. It don't say mother or stepfather. And if it was the mother, they would say, well, it was last seen with the mother. And you would think if you're asked in the public for help, which right now the police are asked in public for video, dash cam videos, and any footage that may have captured Gearlock Road, because they had to have come home, right? So they're looking for it in the afternoon time of the 1st, from the 28th to the 1st. So they're closing in on these parents. We got 422 likes. Guys, I'm going to need you to do me a favor. And this helps bring awareness to the case. People need to know about the police seeking these videos. So if you could take a second and like the video for me, it's absolutely free. It don't cost you a penny. There's 1,134 of you in the room right now. Okay. Just hit the like button. And then once you do that, I want you to shout out where you're watching from. But don't cheat. I'm watching you. Hit the like button. Let's get it up to 1,000, and I won't say it no more. Okay. What if the kids were with grandma or brother at Dolly? That's what I've been preaching. That's who I believe the kids were with, is the grandmother and brother, possibly together. I ain't saying it was one or the other. It could have been both of them that they went to the store with and they vanished. Maybe we thought Malaya and Daniel, it was too much for them. What if it was too much for the brother and the mother? And we seen how the brother was acting when he was on that four-wheeler, that he didn't seem like he cared that the kids were missing. I see New York, North Carolina, Nova Scotia. So I think it's very telling what the RCMP has came out and said. You know, and so I think they have given us a lot without saying much of anything. Okay, just by how they've handled things. And, you know, they ruled out the woods. They ruled out abduction. Now they're letting us know these kids were seen the day before with family members. And now we want video of, did they go back home? Basically, that's what they're saying without saying that. Okay, without saying that, that's pretty much what they want. They're closing in on this family. And when it comes down, if Daniel and Malaya didn't have anything to do with it, and his family, it's absolutely going to blow my mind. Okay. But I knew that it was somebody on this property. In my opinion, I've been screaming, it's one of these four people. They need to have these people down there. They need to be interrogating. And you hear them saying, there's more interviews coming, right? There's more interviews coming. They're telling us that, right? That's because these people that probably didn't say anything about being with those kids, now they're going to get them back down there. They're going to start questioning them people even harder. That was the family members that were with the kids, okay? And their whereabouts all the way back to the following morning. They're going to want to know these things. Have the SUV sightings been ruled completely out? Random. It looks like the SUV sightings have been ruled out, okay? Because they've clearly said they don't believe that these kids are wandered off. They're saying clearly they don't believe these kids were abducted. They're focusing in on the family and the whereabouts of the family because the kids were seen the day before, which, you know, you can look at as a good thing. That's a proof of life for all of us that thought, man, they got rid of the kids that Tuesday after school. And because, you know, Wednesday was a teacher work day, so they didn't have school. Thursday, they didn't send Lily because she had a cough, but yet Lily was off shopping with family members, okay? Was out in the town with family members. Her and Jack, both the kids. Friday, they don't go to school. Okay. Now the puzzle is starting to come together. Was Daniel supposedly searching before the cops came? Yes. Yes, he was. He came back shortly after the cops got there, and his behavior, is pretty odd, but I believe that this has something to do with Daniel, his family, and who would hurt a kid or who would hide a kid. But there's more to this, right? It's more to this. Dolly, run your title through AI or spell check. Okay, if I misspelled something because I typed it quick and I just woke up. I didn't even looked at the title. Okay. So I will fix anything that's incorrect. I actually I had took a nap because I was going to be here with you guys for my 2:00 video today, and I overslept. So I jumped up and I was like, oh man, I'm supposed to be live at 3:30. And I just set up the live and jumped on live with you guys, okay, to bring you the latest update as quickly as I could. But I'll go through and fix everything before it's all said and done. All right. I believe the grandma knows where should be where. Okay. Oh, okay, it ain't a big deal. The Daniel to be searching deep water. He was shore clean. Look, I'm glad you noticed that. I'm glad you noticed that because he said he was running through water up to his neck and he wasn't dirty at all. He was wearing, look how clean that tap out shirt is. For this guy to say he was running through the mud and running through water and doing all these things, he looks pretty clean with his little chain on, his douchebag chain. That's what I call that. It ain't even really like a really nice chain. It's more like a douchebag chain. So he wasn't searching but so hard. And you heard locals call in and say that he wasn't searching at all. Hey Dolly. Hey, good to see you. So we've learned a lot of things. Let's keep this going.
Daniel's story to police was filled with gaps. He said he heard Jack's voice but didn't see him. Yet he described Jack's dinosaur boots in vivid detail without claiming to have laid eyes on him. And in a trailer that small, even a whisper echoes. How did two children leave without being seen or heard? Neighbors didn't report seeing the children at all in the 48 hours before the disappearance. In fact, the last confirmed sighting came from school staff on April 29th.
Now, remember, I made this video before this update came out. Okay, so now we know that the last confirmed sighting of these children was the day before they were reported missing, and they were last seen with family members in the town shopping. Okay. Let's get Dolly to 66,000. Come on, folks. We are really close to 66,000. So if you're out there watching and you're not subbed up yet, make sure you sub up, ring that bell for notifications. And we're going to be following this case to the end. So if you want, up-to-date updates on this and every little rumor and news and everything we can find out about these children, make sure you sub up, ring the bell for notification. Bring me back to the bus driver.
After that, nothing. No one saw them at play. No one saw them at school. Even their bus driver, Brian Ward, who knew Jack as a bubbly, chatty kid, said that day felt completely normal.
One thing in common with all these missing kids cases is CPS are involved within days or days after already missing.
Yes, and there's rumors that are coming out that, now this is just rumors that I've heard online, that Lily at some point was in some type of foster care. Okay. I don't know if this is before Jack was born because they're only 2 years apart, right? Jack is 4, she is 6. But I'm hearing that the CPS was already involved with the family way before this even happened. And I mean way before this. So they've had some rough patches, I would say, if that is true. Now, I'm not positive of that, but that's what people are saying, that Lily may have been in foster care at some point for a little tiny bit.
Until they vanished.
Bag with white, and it was white with strawberries on it. I imagine now if they're in the woods that it'd be probably brown, but I don't see them carrying their backpack. I don't see them keeping a pull-up one for that long after it got soaked from the very first day. We only found the 2 boot tracks outside of the house.
Whereabouts?
Right beside the house, probably 10 feet away from the backyard.
In the backyard, okay.
Okay, y'all heard that, right? Really important. Y'all, let me back that up a little bit. Let me back that up just a bit.
From the backyard.
In the backyard, okay.
2. Family.
That's probably 10 feet away from the backyard.
In the backyard, okay.
2. Family died.
In their backpack. I don't see them keeping a pull-up one for that long after it got soaked from the very first day. We only found the 2 boot tracks outside of the house.
Whereabouts?
Right beside the house, probably 10 feet away from the backyard.
In the backyard, okay.
2.
Okay, because remember, guys, we thought that the boot prints were at the end of the driveway. Remember that? Did y'all catch an interview? I didn't even catch it the first time, but as I go back and I start breaking down little pieces of things, I start to realize, hey, that ain't right. This is what he said. There was 2 boot prints and they were found 10 feet from the back door and they were in the backyard, because we believed the footprint was at the end of the driveway and it looked like the kids had vanished from there. That's absolutely not true. The boot print was in the backyard. A kidnapper can't even see into the backyard. And who is in the backyard? The mama. Daniel's mama's in the back, and his brother is in the back. So the last feet print of where the brother and the mother are, I don't know. And like I said, they don't describe anything that happened Thursday night. Nothing. Not one thing did they describe in anything they've said. I've been looking. Well, I've been looking. What did y'all have for dinner? What did y'all do that day? What was the night before like? Nothing. They leave out the whole day before the kids go missing. Their story starts Friday morning. Why don't the story start Thursday night when they put the children to bed? We don't know what time they went to bed. You know, I'm thinking they took these kids out for a colossal popcorn. You never want to get a colossal popcorn, whatever you do, guys. Anybody be like, hey, you want to go get a colossal popcorn? You tell them hell no, right? Tell them hell no. No colossal popcorns for me. I don't want one. If they try to take you to Texas Roadhouse, nah, let's let that one go. Let's go somewhere else, all right? Things bad happen when you go get them colossal popcorns, or somebody takes you out for ice cream the day before you go missing. Now, I don't know where they were at, what kind of store they were at, but if it comes out they were at somewhere that was like a Cold Stone ice cream or something good for the kids, and then next thing you know, that's how they always get you. You want to go get ice cream? And next thing you know, you come up gone. That's a red flag. Now, if they went to the grocery store, maybe a little bit different, right? But if you went somewhere to get some type of treat or something good for the kids, and now these kids are gone, you know, the old, let me take them to get ice cream, and then they never come back. But it looks like it's narrowing down to a family member. Like I've been saying from the beginning, more psychic than Donna Rever Serafina. If I am right on this case, I'm changing my name to Psychic Dolly Vision. Okay. And I'm going to start a damn 1-900 number where you can call in and I give you psychic advice. All right. I'm done. That's it. It'll be Psychic Dolly. From then that point on, have a crystal ball. I'm going to wear one of them damn turbans, all that shit. Right. It's going on. It's going down. But I think this family got some explaining to do. Okay. I think they got some explaining to do. And they never mentioned that the kids went off the day before with family. They never mentioned the kids going to bed. They never mentioned the kids having dinner, brushing their teeth, reading them a bedtime story, any of those things you would think of in normal life. We didn't hear none of that. All right, none. And, you know, we thought the boot prints were at the end of the driveway, and no, they were in the backyard. The same backyard that leads to the mother and the brother. Now, they act like the fence was, you know, terrible. There was pieces of the fence missing, yes. Right? But you got to remember, them kids have been there for 2 years. They never wandered off in those 2 years. But this day, they just decided, oh, let's go wander off 1,000,000 miles from the house. But they hadn't did it in 2 years. Right? Malaya and Daniel have been together for 3 years. 3 long ass years. That's almost the same amount of time me and PJ's been together. In 2 years, them kids never wandered off. They never walked off by themselves. They never did any of that. You never heard them say that, right? They never done it before. Never done it. But this day, for some reason, while they're sleeping, everybody in the house is sleeping in. These kids is magically wander off. Didn't happen. Did not happen. Did not happen. When is the arrest coming? That's the question we need to be asking now. When is the arrest coming? There's going to be an arrest. I mean, I'm confident of that. So for everybody that's scared that we won't get the answers in this case, nah. They've had cadaver dogs. They've had cadaver dogs. But the kids didn't go missing from the house. They never made it back to the house. Them kids were taken away from there by a family member, and they never came back. Wait till you hit 33 years. I don't know what that means. They just playing a whole adventure with the backpack and boots. Somebody got to go, right? Somebody's going to prison. And I think it's going to be, I think at least 3 people. I think at least 3 people may be going down for this. And this kind of goes with what, you know, that one psychic, Mara, I think that was it. She said she thought 3 people were going down. I'm going to have to say I agree with her. I think at least 3 people are going down, if not 4, with Malaya. Was this a case of these people being overwhelmed, or they couldn't handle the kids? I don't know. I don't know. But I know that Thursday was a real day. I know Thursday happened. It just didn't happen for them. It's odd that the story starts Friday morning and not Thursday night. So, can anybody tell me anything that happened Thursday that they mentioned? Because I've been going back looking through the videos, and I haven't heard them say one thing about the day before. Nothing. Like that didn't even exist. Yeah, I think 4 arrests. I believe all of them, you know, and not only is this something that was planned. I mean, you're talking, if they did hurt these children, you're talking premeditated murder. This was planned. This is something that just didn't occur. Angie, right? These kids were taken away from that property for a reason. And we need to know what that reason is. And it don't look like they ever came back when they left. So whoever seen them that Thursday, they're probably the last people to see them children alive. And whoever they were with, you were the last people seen with these kids. You got some explaining to do. And that's why cadaver dogs are not hitting. That's why search dogs are not hitting. Yeah. Pat, thank you. I think we're going to hit that 66,000 today, guys. I think we may hit it. Especially with all you beautiful people out there subbing up and listening to the best psychic on YouTube. Okay. Dolly, right? We know the walls are closing in now, right? We know that that's the reason the dogs didn't hit, because them kids didn't run away. The cadaver dogs are hitting because these kids didn't die at that house. They never made it back Thursday night. I don't believe, in my opinion, I don't believe these kids ever made it home Thursday. And that's why the RCMP are looking for video from dash cams to see if these vehicles that they were traveling in, Al, just sub. Usually, Al, when you sub, it waves. I don't know why yours didn't. I didn't see it. If I missed it, sorry about that. But thank you for joining and subbing up the channel. That is awesome of you, brother. So, you know, just I wish they would let us know the vehicle. Christina, thank you for subbing. I wish they would let us know the vehicle, because then we can narrow down what family member it was by what vehicles they drive, right? They're asking for dash camera, but they're not telling us what we're looking for in the camera. Usually, listen, y'all remember Matty Soto, Stephen Stearns? He drove the goldish, silverish Lincoln. Okay. So they put out on the news, hey, we need anybody that may have seen this Lincoln in any other locations. And they did, and they found Matty Soto's body off a road. But if they hadn't put that out, we wouldn't know. Now, the question is this. We know they were in town, right? But we don't know what they were driving. I think the police should put that out. But once they put that out, if they do put that out, we're going to know who's responsible. Okay? Which family member it is. Because Hope Pool, thank you so much. Thank you. Steffer says, let's hit that 66K subs today. All right. Well, a lot of people have been subbing up lately, enjoying the videos, enjoying the content, because we've been trying to, you know, any possibility, any theory, we have ran past all this stuff, right? And we're starting to narrow it down. Liv, thank you for becoming a member. We're narrowing it down. We're getting closer and closer every day to the answers, which is good, because listen, we cover a lot of cases that we go years without getting no answers, go a long time with nothing. At least in this case, that, you know, as bad as we think that the Canadian Mounted Police keep everything to the chest, they haven't. They quickly ruled out the woods. They quickly ruled out abduction. They're starting to look at the family. They're starting to look at these cameras, you know, and I think all of this stems from Daniel's phone. Everything took a change after they seized his phone. My next video is on his phone. It's a little, I done started working on it, so I may have to go back and tweak it a little bit, because it's more information has came out since I started working on that video. All right, but it's dealing with his phone and the timeline of what transpired after they got his phone. And Nina, thank you so much. So anyway, let's jump back to this video.
Family dynamics and community. Daniel Martell, 33, lived in the trailer with Lily, Jack, their baby sister Meadow, and the children's mother, 28-year-old Malaya Brooks Murray. A former cashier, Malaya had become a stay-at-home mom after Meadow's birth. Neighbors said Malaya seemed overwhelmed. Daniel was quiet, often working on old cars in the yard. The family didn't mix much with others in the area, but the children were well known at community events. Madison Spears, a local mom, said her daughter played with Lily at birthday parties. They were loud, happy kids, she told the Chronicle Herald. They weren't isolated, they were active, full of life. So why, after their disappearance, did Daniel and Malaya claim both kids possibly had undiagnosed autism, a condition that might explain wandering? That statement directly contradicted what teachers and neighbors had seen. Lily was outgoing, artistic.
Boom, you hear that, right? Why are they saying these kids have autism when the people around him, which told the Herald that they were loud and normal kids. Kids make noise. They're rambunctious. Because, you know, when we think of kids with autism, we know they do what they call eloping. They run off. Okay. So they were instantly making excuses that these kids were kidnapped, that these kids ran off, that these kids would talk to anybody. They would get in a vehicle with anybody. They were already building their alibi from the very beginning, right? And now we know the kids didn't wander off. We pretty sure they didn't get abducted. Now we know the day before they were with a family member and they're gone. Also, what we do know is y'all never mentioned feeding those kids, putting those kids to bed, giving them kids a bath, brushing their teeth, getting them up for breakfast. It's like it didn't even exist, right? Didn't even exist. I don't believe these kids had autism. Okay. I don't believe these kids would just talk to strangers and get in a car with anybody. I can't believe we got 750 likes on this video and we got 1,500 people in the room. So that means half of you guys out there, you didn't ring the doorbell. It's like walking in somebody's house without knocking. Okay. But I do thank you guys for being here. If you would take a second, guys, it does help bring awareness to these kids, not just this channel, but please hit the like button on your way in when you come in, guys. I mean, you can hit the dislike button, but pick one, you know. It helps in the algorithm that people are engaging with the video, just like when you guys leave comments and stuff like that. So do your best to help the channel. Why were they diagnosed if they wasn't thought? Why weren't they? If they were thought to be, why wasn't they? Because I think this is just an excuse. You know, if you tell people, oh, I'm the missing parent of 2 autism children, I think people will feel more sorry for you and not blame you, because, you know, most kids with autism do run away. Statistically, by the time they're 16, they will run off at least once. Usually they don't get far before somebody brings them home or they come back home. But most children with autism do at some point run away. And I don't know if they're familiar with this or they watch true crime on the internet. We know Daniel at some point was a YouTuber. Okay. True crime is a big thing here on YouTube, right? Maybe they're watching. You know, you got to look at this. Sebastian Rogers, that story, thank you for joining. It was an international story, worldwide, all over the country, all over the world. And it's about a boy with autism and he runs off, which he didn't run off. Okay. But it was alleged that he ran off. What happened was story time. Watching and learning, maybe Dolly. Why do so many children have autism? I don't know. Bless you. Thank you, guys. I don't actually know, but I don't believe these children had autism. I believe what the teachers are saying. Wouldn't the teachers know? I mean, most teachers are around tons of kids. They would know if kids were special needs or not. And if the teachers ain't saying that, just messaged on Messenger, they are nonverbal. I've never heard that. How do you know that? How do you know that they're nonverbal? We just heard a friend of the family say the kids were talking, they're rambunctious, they were playing, that they don't match with what the teachers and friends are saying. And that was in the Herald. I mean, you know, a pretty decent, credible news source. So,
constantly sketching animals. Jack was social, inquisitive, obsessed with dinosaurs and bugs. Their school had never raised concerns. It raised the question, were Daniel and Malaya creating a narrative to explain a disappearance that didn't make sense?
We're all
absolutely, guys. I don't see how people couldn't catch that from the very beginning. Listen, one thing we know as parents, and I'm a parent, this is how I caught this. We know stranger danger. We know it's not good to let our kids talk to strangers, right? Somebody comes up with you looking for their dog and a box of bones and asks you, do you want to help? Hell no, you don't want to help. That's how kids go missing. You know, you're supposed to be wary of strangers. That's something we teach our kids early on, is stranger danger. If you're not teaching your kids that, you're doing an injustice to your children, because you're putting your children in danger. The mom said it wasn't true. They are verbal. See, and the teachers are saying they're verbal. The friends of the family are saying they're verbal. They're not seeing any signs of, they thought the kids had autism. This is just coming from the parents on day one. These are the same parents that didn't get up and cook their kids breakfast. These are the same parents that didn't know what the kids were wearing. These are the same parents that never mentioned putting the kids to bed, giving them a bath, reading them a story, giving Lily medicine. And Lily was allegedly sick, but yet she's out at the store with family members. If red flags ain't going off everywhere to you, you may be new to true crime, but let me tell you what I'm not. I'm not new to true crime. I've been around a lot in person and just on the internet, around a lot of people that are really missing kids, people that murdered their kids. I've been there in person with them. I don't just talk about it. I live this life. Okay. I don't know how many other people do, but I do. It's weird as shit. I don't know how I ended up like this, but I did. Okay. But with that comes a lot of experience in this. The last 4 years. I mean, I could have a college degree in 4 years. All right. I could have a bachelor's degree in criminology in 4 years. But instead of going to college, I got mine living the life, on the job training. Okay. And it's been 4 years. And I'm telling you right now, something is not right with this family. And there are red flags everywhere. Nina, thank you. Thank you, Nina. Nina jumping on that train. The Dolly Express, the Blessed Express gets you there every time, right? Wouldn't tell you nothing that I didn't believe to be true. Now, we got to have some faith in the RCMP that they're closing in on the people. They know who the last person seen with these children are, which is good. It is good. And we heard them say they're doing more interviews. And of course, them interviews are with the family. They're going to start pressuring these people. Somebody's going to talk. Somebody's going to break. Somebody's going to prison. But, you know, trigger warning, guys. I don't know if these kids are with us anymore. Okay. That is the bad part. I do not know if these kids are with us anymore. It's scary. When them kids didn't show back up home, this is pretty high profile for that area. I don't think somebody would hide these kids. Why would they do it as a hoax? They, you know, if they were asking for money, if they had a GoFundMe right now, I'd be like, man, it's possible they hid these kids. All right. This dad he didn't even want to be a dad. He had nothing to do with these kids. And they wasn't with the dad, or they would have said that they were with their biological father. Plus, Malia and Daniel would have said, well, they left the day before with their father. They never said that. The family member they were with Daniel's family member. My damn spidey senses are telling me that. Hold on, let me go into my Donna Rever Serafina. I'm seeing Daniel's family. Okay, that's my psychic senses right there. Is this has something to do with his family. Right there, bus driver said Jack was very chatty. Absolutely.
Dolly, teach and train our kids.
Dolly, teach and train your kids. Now listen, as a parent, you know to protect your child. You know stranger danger. You don't just talk to anybody. I'm not buying it. I didn't buy it from day one. I didn't buy it on day 2. I didn't buy it on day 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to day 25, 26, right? I still don't buy this shit. I don't believe these people. I don't. Okay? There is no law in the world that says I have to believe these people, because I absolutely don't. Now, I'm not sitting up here saying they're killers. I suspect they did something wrong. I suspect. I don't have any proof. I don't have the proof that the RCMP have. You know, I don't even know who the last person they were seen with, but I got a good, in my mind, I believe it's the grandmother and the brother they were off with. And now they're gone. And we don't hear anything about Thursday night. And Thursday night, they were with a family member. But we don't hear nothing about, well, they got home from the store with my mother or my brother, and then we ate dinner. You know, I gave Lily and Jack a bath, brushed their teeth, laid them down, and then me and Daniel went in the room with Meta. We don't hear that. Where's the rest of the story? Why does it seem like there's part of the story is missing? Because it is. And there's a reason it's missing. They left it out. Did they accidentally leave it out? No. They purposely left that out. Why didn't they say, well, yesterday they went to the store with my family. When they got back, we did this, and this. You know, I laid Lily down because she was sick. It don't sound like Lily was sick if she was out shopping with a family member. Okay? And that's the thing, is Lily was supposed to have been sick that day. That's the day that Lily didn't go to school. She didn't go to school that day. But yet she's out with family members. Did anybody see her coughing? Did she appear to be sick? The whole Lily being sick is a lie. The whole these kids have autism, I believe, is a lie. Everything these people have said and told us is to cover for themselves, and I believe it to be a lie. Now, that's my opinion. I can't prove this, right? I can't prove this. This is just what I'm thinking, that we have been lied to from the very beginning. And it's the same kind of thing that happened. Thank you.
The
It
parents
says,
diagnose, but the school doesn't.
yes, the parents are diagnosing the autism, but the school doesn't. The school didn't even say the children were special needs. They fall under anything. Bus driver said that he was chatty. Friends were saying he liked to play with bugs and draw animals. Lily was outgoing, right? The only people that are saying these things are the stepdad and the mother. And it kind of is that kind of similar to what happened in the Sebastian Rogers case. Remember, in the beginning, damn, Sebastian was nonverbal. He needed a drool rag. Okay, that's how they seems like they describe Sebastian Rogers to me. And then Seth came out, the father, and said, no, my kid is awesome. You know, he wears pull-ups. He has problems with personal space. Seth came out and said, listen, he comes to my house. He don't have to wear pull-ups. He plays video games. He can get on the internet. He cooks for himself. He puts himself on the school bus. He gets off the school bus. He's part of the chess team. He loves to swim. That don't sound like a kid that's nonverbal and wearing diapers to me. All right, we got two different stories, completely two different stories. And similar in this, the mom saying one thing and the stepdad saying one thing. And then you got the teachers and the bus drivers and the friends of the family, or people that know Lily and Jack, saying totally opposite of what they're saying. Why? Why? Because they're building an alibi. They're building, take the pressure off of me. Now listen, is Malaya a woman that's being abused, or is she scared and she's scared to say anything? Have they threatened her life or something like that? I don't know. I don't know. Does she really not know what happened to her kid? Is she really that dumb? I hate to say it. Now listen, look at Jen Soto. Jen Soto claims she didn't know anything, that all this was happening right up under her nose, right? And, you know, she was asleep. We know she says she was asleep in and out of consciousness. She has that look, says Susan, right? She has that look. I mean, it's hard to judge somebody on their looks, but I don't have a good feeling about this whatsoever. And the timeline. Jen is guilty just for letting I missed that. Her daughter sleep with that creep. Yes, Jen, not Jan. You put Jan, okay? But I misspell shit too. All right. So Jan, now I call her Jan. Jen Soto. Yeah, I believe she's a monster. She's just as responsible. Now, I don't know the circumstances under this, but I know this. If I was Malaya and I didn't have anything to do with it, I would start talking and telling the truth. There's no point if you are scared of Daniel and his family, you're away from them now. There's so many police involved, and I would just tell it. Okay. Because if not, it almost seems like you're responsible, and you may be, you may be just as responsible as these people, but I don't know how any woman could set aside and let a man or his family hurt a child. And we talked about this a lot in the Sebastian Rogers case, because a lot of people believe Chris Proudfoot was the one that did something to Sebastian. Now, listen, I've always thought differently. The last person with you is usually the person that has committed the crime. That's just facts. That's statistic. The last person seen with these kids, with a family member, is most likely the one that is responsible to whatever has happened to these children. Now, let's get through this video, and I'm going to open up the phone lines, and I want to hear from you beautiful people today.
Filled with pain and sorrow because we just want them found.
Does she sound like she's filled with pain and sorrow? She said, and we just filled with pain and sorrow because we just want those found. With not one tear in her eye, not one snot bubble coming out of her nose, right? She ain't ugly crying. She's not crying at all. Does that seem legit to anybody in this room? To me, it don't. It absolutely don't. And I hate to be, a mean ass to this woman that's missing a kid, but I'm sorry, ma'am. I don't see your pain and sorrow. I just don't.
Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you, twin mama. It ain't no problem. This is what I do, no matter what. We try to stay on the side of good. I'm trying to get my way into heaven. All right. I ain't always been the best person, so I'm trying to get my way in there. I'm getting old. Okay. I don't know how much long I got left on this planet, so I'm trying to do good with the time that I have left. And this is just part of being a good human being. I can do, right? This is what I can do from my chair for these children, is give them a voice, bring awareness to it, and that type of stuff. So it ain't no problem, right? I'm trying to earn some good points with the Lord upstairs. I can't be in the negatives when the time comes. You know what I'm saying? I got to be plus points. So that way, even if I'm teetering on getting in, I can kind of, do my used car salesman and be like, hey, come on, Jesus, let me in. We cool. You hung with prostitutes and shit. You know what I'm saying? I hit a strip club a time or two in my younger days, right? We got something in common. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that'll work. Maybe it'll work. If not, then I'm burning in a pit of hell. Okay. But I'm going to try my best to get in. All right. I'm going to maneuver. It's all about position. I'm burning. There's better odds that I'm going to burn. Okay. I'm just letting you know. But give it enough time, I think I can make my way in. I can make my way in. All right. So
We want them home. Last night was one of the worst nights because I didn't have them in their beds. And I don't want to go.
No, you're not blocked.
Another night without them.
Damn. YouTube don't play with them commercials.
Mother's escape, 4:15 to 5:30. Just days after the kids went missing, the family imploded. On May 3rd, Malia's relatives confronted Daniel in the trailer's front yard. Shouting was reported. Accusations flew. Cindy Murray, Malia's mother, allegedly screamed at Daniel, claiming he knew more than he was saying. Witnesses say Daniel's mother, Linda Martell, emerged from her camper next door and demanded Malia leave.
Don't, that was an Easter egg. Don't pay no attention to the Beyonce clip. Okay. It just slipped in there when I was editing.
Leave the property. That night, Malia packed up Baby Meadow and fled to Colchester County. She blocked Daniel on all social media. By the next morning, Child Protective Services had moved quickly to bar Daniel from contacting Meadow. For someone never publicly named a suspect, it was an unusually swift decision. Malia has remained silent since, reportedly under RCMP instruction, but her sudden disappearance from Daniel's life speaks volumes.
They're flying in someone to do a polygraph test. Is that on you?
That's not just on me, but
well, you never know. Beyonce, you know, she's tied to P. Diddy. We got kids missing. So, you know, if you didn't catch the Beyonce clip, yeah, you know what I'm saying? You got to watch these celebrities. We got to watch them. P. Diddy's on trial right now as we speak. You know what I'm saying? He had baby oil cannons. You can't. I don't trust Jay-Z, Beyonce, none of them. All of them be drinking baby tears. All right, adrenochrome. Another video. We ain't going to get into conspiracy world, but hey, they're not. I wouldn't let them babysit my kids. Right? You ever see the lady that does this? True story. You ever seen the lady that does the fashion for Beyonce and Jay-Z? She is a Satanist. Okay. Why would celebrities hang with open Satanists? And if you don't believe me, go look at their fashion designer that does their clothes for them. This lady looks like the fucking devil. She's completely satanic, but she is a clothing designer, and they be hanging out with her all the time. She looks like a witch from a horror movie. Okay. I don't know why Beyonce and Jay-Z would be like that, but that's P. Diddy, and all of these celebrities be hanging with this woman, and I swear this woman is the devil. I swear she is the devil. I forget her name, but I've showed her in other videos and talked about her.
On everyone, that's what I asked for. I asked for that so early on, and there's not many places that do it in Canada, so they're flying somebody in.
Why do you think you need to do that? Do you think they don't believe you?
I think their side of the family doesn't believe me, and I just want to clear it up for everyone. Clear it up for everyone, not just the people online making crazy accusations. And
4. The mystery deepens. Investigators conducted an extensive search of the surrounding area. Over 160 volunteers, drones, infrared cameras, and police dogs covered a 5.5-kilometer radius. They searched ditches, culverts, and dense forest. A child-sized footprint was found, a pink blanket, a half-empty water bottle. Daniel insisted these items didn't belong to Lily or Jack, despite no other children living nearby. On May 8th, the RCMP's underwater recovery team searched Lansdowne Lake. The area was cold, murky, and challenging. Divers found no signs of the children, but by May 15th, authorities announced they were focusing on specific areas closer to the home, hinting that new information had changed the course of the investigation. Meanwhile, Daniel made headlines.
You hear that, right? Did y'all catch that? That new information had changed the course of the investigation. Now, my belief is that new information was information obtained on Daniel's cell phone. Okay. Now, I know y'all ain't heard that nowhere else. All right. Because when I called it, it was because of the timeline. That's why the next video was on things of the timeline, because it's the police's actions after receiving the data off his phone that they scaled the search back in the woods. All right. I'm going to open the phone lines.
Headlines by requesting a polygraph test, a bold and rare move. A retired RCMP officer told CBC either he's extremely confident or trying to manipulate public perception. Polygraph tests aren't admissible in Canadian courts. Most people avoid them entirely. Daniel asked for one.
Well, yeah, thanks for having me, Anne-Marie. There's a couple of things at play here. Either the police know more than we do, which is quite likely, particularly from an investigative perspective, things they're not saying. It was very, very clear yesterday at the press conference that the staff sergeant in charge of the investigative side of this said just things he couldn't say.
5.
Ba-bum. Okay. Good Lord, with YouTube and these commercials. All right, so we're going to open the phone lines. I want to hear what you guys think about this new information that is coming out that Jack and Lily was last seen the day before reported missing with a family member. All right. The police are searching for body, dashboard cams and doorbell cameras, things like that, days before these kids went missing. Now, we know they were alive the day before, which is new information today. We didn't know that before. So at least the RCMP have cleared up some speculation. Hey, babe.
The lady's name is Marina Abranovich.
Marina Ivanovich. And she is the devil worshiping lady?
She paints with urine and feces.
She paints with urine and feces. I know she is a clothing designer, and I know she worships the devil.
Yeah, it's a lot more to it, but she's definitely dark.
And not to touch on anything, the whole P. Diddy saying get rid of the pizza boxes and get rid of the plastic has something to do with Jay-Z and Beyonce.
I didn't know that, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, because when he says to his son, did you talk to so-and-so? And he said, no, he's blowing me off. He said, well, let them know that Netflix movie is about to drop, that he'll tell on Jay-Z and Beyonce is what P. Diddy is saying. See, I should be the one covering the P. Diddy trial because I know the inside scoop on all these dirty ass people because I've been following Biggie since I was a kid, and I know all the dirty things P. Diddy done, all for years.
Okay, you know what Netflix they're talking about? Because that's Jamie Foxx. He's claiming that P. Diddy poisoned him, and that's why he had that giant health scare.
No, that's
actually what's just come out today.
No, but what I'm saying is the threat was made against Jay-Z. When P. Diddy said that stuff about the pizza boxes and the plastic, it was so Jay-Z would hear it. And Jay-Z is the one that was blowing them off, trying to stay low in it, because that them parties were put on by P. Diddy and Jay-Z and Beyonce, right? And Beyonce and them, they hang out with a known devil worshiper that, these devil worshippers believe that if you hurt children, it gives you greater powers. Remember the West Memphis 3 and the occult that was involved in the West Memphis 3 murders with Damien Echoes, he believed the same thing. So when you get into these satanic Bibles and Aleister Crowley and things like that, when you start talking about the devil, a lot of these people believe it because, I grew up in metal bands, and some of the metal bands that I toured with were death metal bands. And these death metal bands, all their lyrics are based on, things from the Satanic Bible, like Slayer and things like that. And there's people that 100% believe these things, and not only believe it, but are doing some of these things. And a lot of these things involve innocent children.
Right. Well, but isn't it known that anyone really in Hollywood has basically sold their soul to the devil?
Yeah, but saying somebody sold their soul to the devil and you being with the devil is totally like holy shit. They run over. This lady goes on tour with them. Her and her husband. They're Satanists. They're saying why as a good person would you be traveling around with some Satanists?
I mean, either you're really naive or you're not understanding that it's real.
They're at the
people
parties.
really truly.
They're at the party.
Yeah, I know. She has like big gathering dinners where like human people are centerpieces.
Yes.
And
they're eating off of the people. They put fruit and all that. Yeah, off naked women, and a whole lot of perversions going on. And they ain't even got to the tip of it in P. Diddy yet. I mean, there's some things happening in these elite people, these rich people are sickos. I mean, major sickos. And it all
he's gonna vanish just like the guy with the island. Because how can they expose him and everything he's done without exposing everybody?
Or he's gonna get killed.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's actually being unalived or not, I think that he's going to vanish just like the other guy on the island.
Yeah. Well, when a powerful person goes down, it's because another powerful person wanted them to go down. Powerful people don't just
they don't piss somebody off.
They done piss somebody off that's even more powerful than them. You got to remember, P. Diddy is a billionaire. So whoever he's pissed off.
Not no more.
Well, not no more, but at the time he got knocked off, he was a billionaire. So who can knock off a billionaire?
It was fascinating.
Other billionaires.
The stuff from today. Well, and bigger billionaires.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just thought it was fascinating.
And P. Diddy knows some dirt. And that's what he's saying. That's what he's letting the world know. Hey, I know these things. And if these people don't come to my rescue, I'm telling it. I mean, he's saying it in so many words. If they don't rescue him and get him off of this crazy shit he's been doing for all these years, he's telling on everybody.
It don't look like they're coming.
Are they going to let him tell? If you was a billionaire, would you let this man talk?
No, absolutely not. But how are you going to stop him? If it's the last day on his trial,
you must talk,
and
you can reach a lot of places with money, even federal prisons. You can reach them with money. You can reach guards, right? Look at, I hate to turn this conspiracy, but look at Epstein.
Yeah.
You can get touched no matter where you're at in this world.
I don't think that he's gone. Honestly, I don't. That's the difference between you and me. Because there's cameras, there's shit there that's freaking in place.
Oh no, you get
just magically.
You get rid of people that can tell on you. They got to go. They got to go, and you know that when you join this world of elite, that's why they got to have dirt on you, right? I believe that some of this stuff is you're made to do when they accept you in to what some people call, I just say the elite, but some people call that the Illuminati. They got to have something over you. So if you go rogue, they can destroy you. Hey, just what I think. But I'll see you in a few, babe.
I wanted to touch on something.
Okay, go ahead.
You done got all squirrely, and I didn't even get a chance to even mention what I wanted to actually discuss.
Okay, go ahead.
The fact that they're clearly looking for a vehicle.
Uh-huh.
And let's say it's to find out whether or not these children returned home or if they were picked back up or whatnot, because it's directly on their road they live off of. They're asking for specific time frames and dash cams. How likely are they going to be to find? I mean, it doesn't look like the road is it really that traveled that you're going to get camera footage from somebody's vehicle at that point in time? Like, how likely is that?
Well, I noticed this. A lot of countries, part of their insurance is cheaper when they have dashboard cams. So like in the UK, they got tons of dashboard cams. You ever notice on YouTube, they show all them UK videos of people with that? They show almost everybody wrecking. They always catch it because some insurance companies in some countries acquire you to have these for certain price insurance. So there may be a lot of people that have in Canada that have these dash mounted cameras.
Well, that's not what I mean.
Even in the States, that you can save money by having one on your insurance if you have a camera.
I know. I used to have one on the Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
That's not my question. My question is the road they live off of is not like Virginia Beach Boulevard. You don't got 4 ways of traffic coming at all times, and there's cars on that road all day, every day. And it seems like a very desolate. Like, what's the chance that there's
no? Somebody told me that's a well-traveled road because it leads you to other places that people travel to there. It leads you to a couple of different places. Yeah, so that people go there and the road is pretty traveled.
I read that it was a road where like big trucks that were carrying stuff were driving down that road, and that's mainly all that's on that road. So I mean, that would be more likely to have a dash cam. So I mean, I guess that's good.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, of course your 18-wheelers are. Your 18-wheelers are going to have cameras in them.
That's what I read that was mainly traveled on that road. So that would be good. But like, what's the chance that at that time of whatever it is, the event they're looking for, it's clearly a vehicle or it's clearly the kids returning back to the house?
Yeah, those pray to God that they catch something. I think when them children went out and they were seen, they never made it back to the house. That's just my gut feeling.
When that would mean that both parents know they didn't come back to the house, because then that's both of their stories are identical. So they both know what happened to them kids.
And when you have identical stories, what does that tell you? They're scripted. The story's scripted.
Right. They got together and I could totally see from what I read about the fight between the parents or the families is that her family came in hard and tried to accuse him. His mom told her family to leave. I didn't see anything about her being told to leave, but it makes sense because if she got told to leave by his family, I could see her being mad that he didn't say, well, no, she's not going nowhere.
Yeah.
And then I could see her being mad and
deleting them off Facebook.
Social media
Yes.
stuff. They're still young. You got to still keep that in mind. They're still somewhat young. So like stupid relationship stuff like that, I could totally see them doing if that's what happened. But ultimately, they're going to have to come back together. And I think on his second or third interview, he was saying how the internet sleuths were harming him. And he mentioned her. And I instantly thought when he said it, are they talking to each other again?
I don't think so.
Because you got to think about it. Well, no, you got to think about it. They have to be at some point, because if they both have the same story, you got to really think they're not going to stay separated in case one of them tells.
So you're saying the whole separation show?
I think that it initially was her being pissed off. Maybe she got told to leave.
But they're still in communication.
And now they have to. So just the way, I'm going to have to find the interview so you can go over it later. But he said something to the likes of how people are harming him and his family and Malia when they're speculating on situations.
Yeah, because I was wondering how he thought it was harming Malia if he had no communication with Malia.
Right, because that's what you said. Wait, I don't know if we were listening together, if you were live and I was listening in the other room, but I thought to myself, not only like, how does he know? What if he knows because she's
been communicating
with him?
Yeah, it could be the opposite of that. It could be the opposite of what I said. They are talking.
Because all we know is that, they've disconnected on social media. But if they do, in fact, both know what happened, which I believe they do, because you're not going to have the exact same scripted story if you don't, then they have to at some point get back together to go over their story to make sure they're both still telling the same story.
Yeah. Well, she ain't telling no story, so she ain't got to worry about much because she ain't saying much. But he's actually quieted down a lot too in the last few days. So
yeah,
thank you, Rose.
He's getting a lot of kickback and pushback for what he's been, saying. So I can imagine that, as he's seeing things, he's starting to pipe down, but he's still kind of out there. I've seen a couple of different articles yesterday and the day before, I think, that still had him mentioned as talking, but we hadn't seen video. So,
yeah.
And then people are saying that she got a lawyer. I could never verify that either. But I mean, if that's the case, that's, the people that get lawyers, they're guilty.
Well, not always. When people start accusing you, and I believe the police are accusing them without saying it. They're being accused. They're by the police. The police are accused. They've been accusing them since day 7. Okay.
Well, no, they had the criminal investigation team day 2.
I know, but I'm saying they really started blaming on day 7. Okay. I mean, without saying it, they said it.
Right.
Okay. They're talking without talking. And they're talking without talking is blaming them. And if I was innocent,
like read between the lines.
Yeah, if I was an innocent person and you started aiming your direction towards me, I would lawyer up too. Innocent people do go to prison. I mean, innocent people do get convicted. I mean, and they do go to prison. I mean, you look at Stephen Avery's, okay, The Making of a Murder on Netflix. He was accused of rape and murder, and then it came out that it wasn't him. Now, the second murder, I believe he committed with the girl that was the trading post. I believe he committed that murder. But the very first one, we're talking the first one, he didn't commit. He was an innocent person and went to prison. I think that's what made him go, well, I spent 20 years in prison. I'm going to commit a murder because I already did the time for it. So let me go ahead and do the crime. And that's where he messed up. But but innocent people do go to prison all the time.
I guess. I think it's just more likely than not that they don't. But for the most part, I guess I can see it. I guess I can see, whereas if I was possibly being accused.
Look, Karen Reed is innocent and she has all them lawyers.
No, she's not innocent. I'm so sorry. I'm glad you came on, because I was getting so frustrated listening to that stupid case. I turned it off. Thank God.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll see you. I'll see you when you get here, babe. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. So I was just joking about the Karen Reed stuff, but you know, for you guys that are following that case, and I guess we, you know, I went a little squirrel there. We touched on the P. Diddy stuff, you know, which is this all has to do with people that hurt children, though. Except for the Karen Reed, that ain't got nothing to do with children. But she didn't like kids either. She didn't even like John O'Keefe's kids. Okay, so I guess it all fits into the thing. Them kids would have came up missing if Karen Reed would have stuck around. I'm just saying. So I guess everything that I spoke about has to do with people that would hurt children, and we live in a world where it seems like it's getting worse of people hurting kids. Now let me open the phone lines back up. PJ had some things to say. So
Best true crime channel is right here. Thanks, Dolly and PJ. Love you guys.
We try our best, Pat. We try our best. Dolly.
Hi there, Dolly. This is Jen from Salt Lake.
Hey, Jen. How's it going?
It's going.
Awesome.
Yeah, so far. I was going to mention also last night when I was talking to you, I never got to finish the fact that the lady that I guess was, you know, that had all the trail cams.
Yes.
That she handed in. She also made the statement, and I thought this was just, something else. She also had a whole bunch of bear traps laid out on her land.
Yes.
And she made a statement that I guess some guy was hunting on her land for something, and he got caught in one of these.
Yeah,
and,
the caller?
Yeah, one of the hunters.
Yeah.
I guess he was looking for deer or something. And I don't know if it took its foot off or his foot was in there or something for like a day and a half. But, you know, he was found, you know, alive and still and stuff like that. But, you know, I wouldn't even go up into those mountains if there's stuff like that hanging out. You know,
well, you gotta be real. You gotta be real careful when you go on people's property, because in certain rural areas, people will shoot you. It ain't like, you know, walking in. You're in the city and you go in somebody's yard. Then in the country, they don't expect people to be out there. And if you're out there, you're not out there for good reasons. So you gotta be real careful approaching.
Well,
and that's what horror movies are made of, right? Approaching a house out in the middle of fucking nowhere. That's how horror movies start.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and so, yeah, that's why I was wondering, you know, if they're trying to roam around and find somewhere to, you know,
maybe a hunter in the woods,
with,
seen the kids. Is that the kind of thing you're going at? And maybe have done something to these children, somebody possibly in the woods?
Well, no. I mean, that may be a theory, but I don't believe that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm just saying, you know, I'm sure she's not the only person that had trail cams. So, you know, if there's that many grizzlies and, you know, brown bears out there, you know, if I were those two,
mm-hmm.
you know.
But usually bears, like usually black bears they have attacked people, but they're not mostly known for attacking people. Brown bears a little more aggressive. But usually if there's a bear attack, bears like to rip things apart. And there'd be clothing, there'd be blood, there'd be buzzards, you know, and other animals that feed off of decomp and dead things, right?
Remains.
Yeah, and remember the Hatfields and McCoys that found that body in the woods of that criminal? They were following buzzards. They seen a bunch of buzzards, and they went to where the buzzards were, and they discovered the body. So usually in that amount of time, if a bear did attack, a bear is going to shred clothes off of people, rip clothes off. You're going to see things that are chewed up. You're going to see drag marks. You're going to see signs of bear, and they're not seeing that. They're, you know, in bear country, they're used to dealing with bears. They know the signs of a bear attack and things like that. There's no paw prints. There's no bear prints around the house. Most likely there wasn't no bear that grabbed them up out the yard. You understand?
Yeah, I understand that fully.
I'm not a bear expert, but I would rule the bears out at this point. Let's don't blame Fuzzy Wuzzy. Okay.
Yeah, well, I was just saying.
People start shooting bears, and the bears ain't did nothing. Okay, they're innocent. No. Don't kill the bears.
Yeah, but I was just mentioning, you know, how many trail cams, you know, that could be out there that have a lot of information out there.
Yeah,
that
and people got to remember,
be discovered.
You're moving in on the bears. They're not moving in on you. Okay,
that's right.
I seen a damn coyote. We live in the city. I seen a damn coyote. I was getting off the interstate, and there was a damn coyote walking down the road in the city at Norfolk. I was like, PJ videotaped it, right? I was like, PJ. She's like, is that a dog? I was like, that is a coyote, right? It's just strolling down the road like another day in the hood. Coyotes in the hood, like. This is real city. I guess there's a river. I guess it must have came through the woods near the river that goes through here. And it was just walking down the damn exit. And I couldn't believe it. That's because we're destroying their natural habitats, building all these houses, and these animals don't have any place to go.
True. That's very true. Where are they supposed to go?
Yeah. So now I got to watch when I let my chihuahua outside, because now I know there's coyotes around. I'd never seen. I didn't even know coyotes were in Virginia. I was like,
hey, they can be anywhere.
I guess so. It was a pretty animal. I was sitting there talking to it, and it was looking at me like I was crazy, you know.
Yeah. But I do believe in your theory that you did have last night. And I do believe that should be checked into.
What was my theory? It changes so much. I don't even remember what theory I had last night. I'm on a new one today. But it always involves the same four people.
Well, yeah, that too. But you were talking about the drainage. And how scent dogs can't pick up on a scent in a certain place.
Yeah. On a property, there could be wells, there could be old septic tanks, things like that.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
That can be very, very easily missed. So
yeah.
But anyway, I just wanted to let you know. I found it very interesting about the bear traps, and people need to be very, very careful if they're going to be walking around, or even riding their four-wheelers around.
Yeah,
they better
for sure
be very aware of where they go and whose property they're on, and one of them might grab them. So
all right, you be good. Peace. All right, I'm gonna share a quick story with y'all. This is a little squirrel, but I want to share it since we're on the topic of bears in the woods. So a friend of mine has a friend that's a comedian, like a big time comedian. Guy's pretty wealthy, and he owns the side of this mountain, okay, in West Virginia. So they plan a big camping trip to go up and stay on this mountain. So I get invited to go stay on the mountain. So I get up there, and these people, they have to be the most gun happy people I ever seen. And when I say guns, I mean assault rifles. Okay, I thought I was staying with a fucking militia. That's how many machine guns these people had, right? So out there's this big cabin, in the top of it's a big bunkhouse that sleeps like 20 people. But everybody's camping outside of the house. This was years ago, near the woods, right? So the girl I'm with at the time, she wants to set up the tent near the woods. And I look at her and I say, listen, there's bears out here, you know, if we're near the wood line, it's easy for a bear to sneak up and eat us. Okay. So, and I don't know, listen, I'm not a survivalist. I'm just guessing at this point that, you know, we probably want to be out in the open near the house just in case of wild animals. All right. We're in the mountains, the deep part of West Virginia too, like the mountains. So this dude's name is Hank. And I'm going to go get on one of the four-wheelers and go ride the four-wheeler, but there ain't a bunch of people riding. They're doing eating because they were all like, let's just say, pleasantly plump. These were big fucking dudes. And I mean big. They big around ass dudes. Like, these dudes ain't miss a meal. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. Not to talk bad about them. They were super nice people, but they ate constantly. Okay? I mean, constantly. But I wanted to go ride the four-wheeler. So the dude told me, he said, look, man, I just want to give you some warning because I don't know how familiar you are with West Virginia. But if you hear a baby cry, you're in trouble. And I was like, what? He goes, listen, dude, we got mountain lions. And mountain lions, I guess, in the wild, they sound like a baby crying. Anybody know that? Anybody know about mountain lions in here? He said, so if you get to a location where you can hear something that appears to be crying, he said, listen, there ain't no babies on the side of a fucking mountain. He said, so if you hear this, you floor it as fast as you can and get away from the area that you're in because you done rode up on a mountain lion. And now I'm sitting here reconsidering this whole, am I going to take off on this four-wheeler, right? And he was like, then, you know, watch coming around corners because we have a bunch of bears. And he was telling me that his friend had wrecked into a bear and had been attacked on a four-wheeler. Okay, flying down a trail, hit a bear. Okay, got attacked after he hit the bear. And I'm thinking, maybe this is the wrong place to ride a four-wheeler. Okay, maybe I should reconsider all of this. But so then I kind of stuck to the dirt road because they live off like a 3-mile dirt road that you go down. And so I kind of stayed on the road and was like, I was sketched out the whole time I was riding, right? But yeah, apparently mountain lions sound like a baby. That's what they told me anyway. They're like, you hear something crying, a baby crying or a woman screaming is what a mountain lion sounds like. That's what he said. He said a baby crying. He said, if you hear a baby crying, you are absolutely too close and you're in extreme danger. Extreme danger. He was like, you might not make it back danger, right? Like immediately get away, right? Immediately. Take precaution, get ready to floor this four-wheeler fast as it'll go. And they have big ones, so these things hauled ass. But I don't know if it would outrun a mountain lion, right? So I don't really know if like I said, a normal black bear would. I've known that brown bears are more aggressive than black bears, and of course, grizzly bears are super aggressive. So, and I mean, I don't know exactly what they have in the woods of Canada. But I know this, you don't want to play with a mountain lion. I learned that one quick. He was like, listen, I'm telling you this for your own safety. Like, you know, take it serious what I say. I ain't telling you just to tell you. And because I didn't have a gun on me. They always travel with assault rifles. I mean, they'll have it on their back on a four-wheeler riding around shooting it. And dangerous ass shit, right? Crazy ass people. Gun happy. They had exploding targets and shit out there. Like, I mean, beyond like, I don't know. Them West Virginia boys are they nut. Drunk as hell with a machine gun riding a four-wheeler. Okay. I'm gonna die. That's what I thought the whole time I was out there. I was like, I'm gonna die out here. This is a bad move. Okay. I just want to share that story. I'll open the phone lines back up now. I know people are trying to call in and I want a little squirrel. But that's for your safety. You may have learned something. If you're in the mountains of West Virginia and you hear a baby crying, you're about to get eaten by a mountain lion. All right. And there's bear all out there. Dolly.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Dolly. It's Tamara from Florida.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm all in. Listen, this is the only theory that I have, and this is only my opinion.
Okay.
It is not Dolly Vision opinion. Okay, so, and I haven't heard anybody speak about this. Okay, so listen, you know that makeshift little like hunting place that he's got outside?
Makeshift hunting place? Are you talking about on the property?
Yes, on his property, he's got like this thing that's made outside. I can't hear you.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay, so listen, outside of their property, they've got this makeshift looking like, you know, because he works with trees, and this stuff is still green, and it looks like a hunter's place. It's where you put all the trees around you, and you can sit in there, and you can hunt in there.
Yeah, almost like a duck blind. Yeah.
Okay, so listen, I feel like, and I seen you showed pictures of them camping where they're camping people. So I think that he might have had them sleeping outside that night, and he had them with him, and he went inside at whatever hour and crawled in bed and went to sleep. And when he woke up, the kids were not there. Now, what happened to them? I haven't a clue, Dolly, but that's what I'm feeling. And that might be why she's waking up with a damn sore throat, because she's sleeping out in the weather. And, you know, and it's like, oh, let's have a camp night because we had the night off of school the next day. Think about it.
I mean, I don't know who would leave their 6-year-old daughter outside. I mean, unless you're just terribly bad parents. I mean,
No. Listen to my theory. Now, this is just my opinion. Nobody, not one person has touched down on this, Dolly. And I got a nickname for you. You are Dolly Llama.
Dolly Llama?
Yep, you're Dolly Llama.
Okay. The Dolly
So that's my nickname. That's my nickname for you. But so my theory is that night he told them, let's camp out. Let's camp outside. And he put the camping gear and all that outside, and he put both of the children out there with him, and he was out there with them for a good amount of time until they fell asleep. And wee hours of the morning, he decided to go in and thinking they were safe. They're in his yard, but anything could have happened to them. They could have woken up and walked off, like, because they kept saying they're in the woods, they're in the woods, they're in the woods. Man, they could
no, they didn't. They kept saying they were abducted. In the beginning they said they were abducted. They're abducted. Check the airports, check the border, those things. That in the beginning they were screaming this was an abduction, that the kids had autism, that they would talk to anybody and get in the car with anybody. That's part of me believing they built their alibi. So they didn't think the kids were in the woods.
But no, because he kept saying they were missing.
Yeah, they were missing, but they were also saying that they were abducted. That somebody kidnapped them.
In the beginning, they kept saying he checked all the dirt roads. Why is he checking the dirt roads if they're abducted? I think he left them in the woods, Dolly. I honestly do.
I mean, anything's possible. I'm not saying you're wrong.
I want you to go back and look at that makeshift thing. And Dolly, it's got green leaves on it.
Okay.
Pardon?
Okay, I will check it out.
It's got green leaves, and I do believe that he pulled, and listen, it's got a water bottle and some type of a toy. And another thing I want to mention to everyone is, yes, that little girl definitely had autism, guys, because the reason why I say is because when people sing all together, it freaks them out and it makes them scream because it hurts their ears. It hurts their ears or something, and it hurts, and they start screaming out. So I do believe they had autism. I don't believe it was in the worst spectrum, but yes.
Okay. I appreciate your opinion, and I will check that out as soon as I get a chance.
Yeah, and I do believe that they dragged all the stuff in that they used for camping that night. But just my opinion, and I appreciate your talking to you.
Okay, no problem. You be good. Stay safe.
Okay, and God bless you for everything that you do. I am a member of your channel, and I appreciate you.
Awesome. I'm glad you could be here. So we'll see what happens. More things are coming out, and hopefully we'll get some closure to this. You be good. You stay safe.
Okay, and nothing but prayers, guys.
All right, peace. Now, I don't know about that. Okay. Now, I listen to everybody's theory because your theory could be just as good as mine. Just as, everybody has an opinion. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that they were camping that night because I'm starting to think that them kids didn't come home from whatever family member they went out with. Okay. We just got the reports in today that they were last seen shopping with a family member. And the police are looking for dashboard cameras. I think they're trying to figure out if them kids went back home or not. They're saying they have more interviews to do. And this is with these family members that were out shopping with Jack and Lily. Why didn't anybody say anything about that? Right? Why didn't they say, well, they were off with a family member the day before. They came home. We gave them a bath, cooked them dinner, put them to bed. None of them things were said. Now, is it possible that what she said? I mean, anything's possible, just as possible as what I'm saying. But so odds of that, I think we know the kids ain't in the woods. All right. We know the kids ain't in the woods. The dogs would attract the kids if they would have been out there camping. But I do appreciate your opinion. I appreciate you being here with us and calling in. I just don't know about that one, right? There's too many ways to go, okay, well, if they were in the woods and they went missing from, let's just say a tree hunting stand or whatever it is today. I don't know exactly what she was referring to. The dogs would attract them. Okay. Dogs would attract them kids down. There would have been signs and footprints and things like that. So I don't think they were out there camping or hunting. I'm starting to go, the RCMP is on to something. They're on to something. And of course they have more information than we do. And I believe some of that information was obtained from Daniel's phone. And they know they were in the city. They know they were out shopping. Apparently that Lily was supposed to have been sick, but yet here she is out with family members. So she wasn't but so sick. If she's sick enough to go shopping, she's sick enough to go to school. Dolly.
Dolly.
Yeah.
Doug from Tennessee.
What up, Doug? What do you think about this new
Hey,
information coming out that they were with a family member in town shopping the day before they were reported missing?
Sounds like a plan to me.
A plan?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was a plan too.
Took them kids away.
I'm starting to think that. But what family member? Why did if it was the mom or dad, why wouldn't they say mom or dad? They said with a family member. What family members are on the property with them? We have Daniel's mother and his brother.
What if the dad come and took them?
Well, the dad couldn't have come and took him, or they would have said he was seen with the biological father. This was the day before. Now they would know, Daniel and the mother would know if the biological father came and picked them up the day before. They never.
No,
they
took them. Took them.
Took them from where though? Why? He didn't want them.
Yeah,
he didn't want.
Family might have wanted them.
There's a possibility of that. Another family member, but it still don't explain their behavior, who they were shopping with, what Doug, they didn't even say that they put the kids to bed. They didn't say they fed the kids. They didn't say they gave the kids a bath, brushed their teeth, read them a bedtime story, or nothing. They skipped right over Thursday like it never happened. They started.
That might have been when the kids were gone.
Exactly when the kids were gone. And now the police said Thursday that they seen the kids shopping with a family member. I don't believe the kids ever came back. That's why the dogs ain't tracking on them. That's why they're not finding them in the woods.
That's a possibility.
A big possibility.
Hey, did you hear that new stuff? Not to change the subject, about Summer Wells.
That about her brother?
No. About Andy.
No, what was it about Andy?
There's two people that brought up Andy in different times. One of them, Jody Sue, said Andy was giving drugs to the kids.
That's Jody Sue's ex-old man.
Okay, and then Hunter says that Andy was on the property. in 2 separate interviews.
He don't say Andy was on the property. He said there was a man on the property, but he didn't specify.
Andy something. Started with an A. What if
but there's also somebody that says that Andy was at work that would testify for him. That he.
What if that guy? He the one that hauls off scrap iron?
I met Andy. Andy seems like a nice guy. Believe it or not.
I mean, he the one that hauls off scrap iron, old cars and stuff.
I'm not for sure. But I met. Matter of fact, I met Andy the last time I was in Hawkinsville, Tennessee. I was out there droning over Summer Wells' house, looking for Summer Wells, searching, and it was just me. And I was in a Mercedes. They noticed the Mercedes parked on the side of the road because it's the holler of Tennessee, and there's a brand new Mercedes out there. You can't hide it, right? It was a nice ass Mercedes too. And they were like, we seen the Mercedes, and we was just like, we had to turn around and come back and see who it was, because you don't see a lot of Mercedes, parked up in the cut like I was in the holler, right? You don't see that in the holler. And when they turned around, it was Andrew, and it was the YouTube creator Ryan Finds Truth, and they were in the holler, and they were giving me places to look, and Andy seemed real nice. I didn't get killer vibes from this guy whatsoever. Why he married Jody Sue Brown, I have no fucking clue. But
stupid.
I didn't get those vibes from him. And he was telling me little tips and things that he knew from that day. And he was sharing basically what he knew about the situation. And I don't know. I didn't get those vibes from him. So he seemed like a fairly nice guy, believe it or not. If he was a killer, at least he didn't kill me. You know what I'm saying? But we in the middle of fucking nowhere, and they spotted that Mercedes. They were like, that's what gave me away. And that was a rental, right? PJ got that rental. I ain't got money like that. You know what I'm saying? But it was nice. It was nice.
But on these two here, I'm still sticking to the theory that something happened at the party. They got a hold of them baths up, and they had to haul them kids off.
If that party existed, I'm starting to lean a different way. I mean, as information comes in and the pieces of the puzzle kind of start to connect, a family member is responsible for this, and that family member, I believe, is tied to the family because the family didn't report it. Why didn't the family report it unless, why didn't Malaya and Daniel report it unless they're in on it?
Yeah.
So,
they could be trying to money grab just like somebody else did.
Possible.
Get people to send them money.
They didn't do that though. They didn't do that.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, Chris and Katie, they never did that. The only person that did that really monetized off anything was Seth. And Seth allegedly had nothing to do with it. And he was the one that was the opportunist out the group, it seemed like. But Seth right now, I don't want to say nothing bad about Seth because I believe right now he's doing the right things. And I don't want to never discourage anybody when they believe they're doing the right things. He's out there fighting for his kid, and I'm glad to see that. He should have been doing this from the beginning. And I would have a different level of respect for Seth.
But now it's done too late.
It's never too late. He got to fight. He has to fight twice as hard is what he needs to do. He needs to go to hell off. He needs to make a scene. And I don't blame him. So at this point, if you're watching this, continue to do what you're doing, man. Even more. Turn it up. Turn the heat up on these police. Turn it up. That is your son. I've told him from the beginning, he is the voice of Sebastian Rogers, that he's more powerful than he ever known. And he let a lot of people come in between that and F it up. Right now, it's better late than never. Go off, Seth. Go off. Don't get rid of all them crazy ass people around you. And you are the voice of that boy. And you make a fuss. You make sure that they spend every minute. You come into a nightmare to them. That they want to find this kid just to shut you up. That's what I believe. Yeah, get you out there here. Let's find this boy. This dude ain't gonna leave us alone. He's not gonna stop, and he's gonna be a nightmare. I'd be pushing for another sheriff in that town, all kinds of shit. I would put the heat on him. I'd put the heat on himself, you know. So
I'd want to know something.
Yeah,
You would be answering me some questions.
Absolutely, and he's starting to do that. So I'm proud of him for what he's doing right now. Okay, I just have to say that.
Maybe he got rid of all them leeches.
Maybe because he was by himself. He was by himself, and that's the stuff that broke my heart in the very beginning. That's the stuff that I wanted to help. Okay, I don't know what happened to him in the beginning. After that, he kind of lost his way, but it looks like he's found his way back, and I encourage it.
And now everybody's left him.
Well, he needed that. He needed that.
Everybody's left him.
You know what he should say? He should say good riddance, because all them people needed to go anyway. Just to be honest, they needed to go anyway. He didn't need them people. All he needed was himself in the beginning. That's all he needed. He didn't need me. He didn't need anybody. That's what I kept trying to tell him. You the voice. You just got to be powerful and strong and lead the dance. And he didn't want to lead the dance. He was a little timid. And that ain't going to bring your son home. Right? You got to be strong. You got to be strong and a leader. And I think he's realizing that now. And I hope that's the path he continues down there, Dougie.
Yeah. Well, what kills me is he acts so bad and on the television by himself, but you put Chris beside him, he acts like a little boy. Like he's scared of everybody. Then when he ain't next to him, he's Billy Badass.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? We need to listen. Somebody says the Sebastian is long gone, but it don't matter. He still needs to be brought home. It don't matter if he's brought home walking and talking, or if he's brought home, you know, not with us anymore. The point is he needs to be found. There needs to be answers for him, and somebody has to get those answers. And that only person that's really trying is his father. So I don't want to, you know, say anything bad about Seth. I want him to keep doing what he's doing right now. I want him to do the right things, not the wrong things. You know, when he does the wrong things. Go ahead.
When they find that strange car on this other two little kids, they're going to find out where them kids went.
They're going to find out soon where these kids are. There's going to be arresting us. All right, Dougie, you be good.
All right, peace.
All right, peace. Okay, I know it's a little off topic, but what we do here is talk about missing kids. Okay, not just Jack and Lily, but Sebastian, Summer Wales, Cody Bixby, Monkey Vaughn. We don't forget any of these kids. Dolly.
Hi, Dolly.
Hey, Rose.
I feel like I've lost my Midas touch.
You're calling early. You usually don't call during the daytime hours.
Well, that's why I'm saying I've lost my Midas touch, because I try to call in and I can't get in like I used to.
Okay.
The hell, what's going on there?
Well, the subject, you know, a lot of people are really concerned about these kids, and there's a lot of developments in the case. So it's.
Are you saying really I'm not?
No, I'm just saying it's been busy. That's probably why you can't get through.
Well, I'm concerned about the children, but it's killing me. It's killing me. The whole world is killing me. Just too much evil going on. I can't even stand. I will touch in on the children, in my opinion, if, you know, just give me a minute here. The whole Diddy case, I can't even stand it. I mean, unless you have a vomit bag next to you, why would you want to watch that? You know? I mean, now Nancy Grace, Aunt Nancy, she's on it.
Yeah.
He can't stand him.
I know. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why you can't. These people are bad. There's anybody that hurt kids. You see, I mean, this man destroyed Justin Bieber. I mean, alone, what he done to Justin Bieber, he should be in prison for the rest of his life.
Yeah. And, you know, since we're on that subject, and I mean, I really didn't call to talk about Diddy, but I'm glad, you know, that you're not covering that, because it's disgusting and gross. And the thing is, you know, earlier when PJ called in, you guys were talking a little bit about, I mean, you squirreled, but you were talking a little bit about, you know, like the Illuminati and stuff. And I've seen movies and stuff about this kind of thing. There's some good movies out there that kind of go into this, privileged people, the rich. And I, have learned from a very good friend of mine who has done a deep dive into these things that they do traffic children. There's something about when a child is very, very scared, a young child, it makes the adrenaline in their blood like how adrenaline does. And they like to drink that because they believe that's like,
we ain't gonna get too far into the drinking baby blood, but if you've seen the movie Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, they talk about it in that movie that is made from the tears of scared children. And in the world, I think Hollywood gives us a little hint of what is really going on, just in little pieces. I don't want to get no more into conspiracy there, Rose.
okay, cool. But you got me and I got you, right? And the thing is about the bears, I agree. I don't think that there was any foul play with bears and animals. There would have been scatter and blood, everything you said. I don't need to repeat. I agree. The only bears that bother me, Jimmy, are those bears that are on TV that are constantly worried about what kind of toilet paper to use.
Yeah. The Charmin bears. I'm scared of
the Charmin bears.
Yeah.
And with a fuzzy ass like that, hit the water, okay? Get a one of those duvet. What are those things called? It needs water. Ain't no toilet paper. Toilet paper in the world that's gonna help you.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I had to throw that in.
The Charmin bears.
But now, as far as the Charmin bears, oof, always worried about their hind ends. Anyway, about little Lily and Jack, such beautiful. They're just so cute. And like the other day, you showed a video about pictures of them when they were little and like how well they were taken care of and stuff. I mean, it was blatantly obvious.
Yeah.
I think from,
something's changed. Something's changed between them pictures and now. Yes, absolutely.
And I don't understand the whole why they are fighting now. The mother and the stepdad, that just seems kind of jacked up to me. Is that real or is it just to throw people off? And why have they not figured out where the last footprints of those children are? I mean, I know they said there was like at the end of the driveway, but
no, the footprints were 10 feet from the house in the backyard. We caught that in an interview. I don't know how it got overlooked, but the footprints were 10 feet behind the trailer.
Okay, so what is the very last thing? Because I started your show a little bit later today. I did watch you this morning and then the other video at 2. But this one I was out shopping and I, just tuned in kind of. What is the actual latest so they're not thinking abduction anymore? No
abduction, no wander off the woods. This is the most recent. A family member was seen the day before they went missing shopping with the kids in the city. Okay. So they want video footage of any vehicles that may have been in the area of the city or on Gearlock Road. So the police are trying to figure out their movement of them kids that day and if they went back home or not. That's the newest.
Okay. All right. And then, okay, so I'm on the right track. And then you said,
stop with the bears. Timothy Treadwell vibes.
Why didn't they talk about what happened? Oh, we put the kids to bed, and I really liked that when you added that.
Because they didn't.
The day before.
They left all that out, Rose, and that's a big red flag. But hey, I got to let you go. My producer just came in, and I got to hear what she's talking about.
And I know how much she loves me.
Okay. All right. Later, Rose.
Love you guys. Bye.
Later. Peace. All right, hold on, callers. Let's see what my producer just came in. What are you talking about?
I just opened the group where all the stuff comes from, and I was trying to confirm it really fast, but I didn't get a chance. But it basically says, from anonymous member, as always, I guess I'm super nosy, and this is the first and last time I look, but in case anyone was wondering, the parents are friends again on social media. She's unblocked him. Take a look at the likes on his pictures. Her profile is active as of now, so her likes show up.
So you would have been right that they are communicating.
I know. I'm always right.
I think I'm rubbing off on you then.
Or vice versa.
Or maybe vice versa. There you go, right? But they're in communications and these kids are missing.
The reason I would want to vet that, though, is because if both of their friends are not showing, how would that, like if she had liked his post before, from before she deleted him, would it still be up there as a like?
That I don't know. I'm not
If
an
she
expert.
blocked
I'm
him,
not
it
an
wouldn't.
expert on Facebook, so I really couldn't tell you.
I would want to look that up. I'm gonna.
So I mean, but that would go to your indication that they've been talking the whole time, and that they're not mad at each other. That this is part of the show, and the reason she is saying she's not communicating with him is because social services or DCSC or CPS don't want her communicating with them. But the only reason CPS would want not that is because the police have tipped off CPS, because you know the CPS and the police, they talk, right?
She's definitely up here liking all his photos.
Is she? Okay, so it is true. So there's something going on, and it looks like Daniel and Malaya maybe in on this together, and something is going on with that family, and they might as well like all the pictures they can before they're in a prison cell. Is my opinion, right? Like, I don't have any proof that these people did anything wrong. Let me make this clear. I have no proof. What is it?
So she's just liking all the pictures. But if she was on his page and she blocked him, it's not going to go back up as her liking all of his pictures again. Like, it's not going to reset after she unblocks him, I don't think.
I think it stays up there.
If you block the person?
Yeah, it don't show then, but when you unblock them, it shows back up.
But then you're not friends again, because once you block, you're not friends anymore.
You can still like somebody's picture and not be friends.
Huh. So it just
If it's public.
mean,
If you don't set your profile to private or friends only, if it's a public picture, anybody can like it.
right.
So that may be something, or that may be nothing, but it sounds like you were right earlier on that they've been in communications the whole time.
I wouldn't say the whole time. I just think that at some point they have to cooperate back together, because they're both saying the same story. So you can't just expect the person to know what to say a month
But you got to
later.
believe if the internet is watching them, sleuths on the internet are watching them, the police are also watching them.
Well, yeah.
You know, they have cyber crimes units that, you know, monitor these stuff. They get search warrants. They can read all your personal messages, your DMs, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, they right now they're actively in two missing child's cases. So I would think that they're keeping an eye on the mother and the stepdad. And it might not be good, because you never know. Social services could step in and take Meadow.
That's what I heard in the very beginning. That was the reason why she left, is because they were threatening to take Meadow. And so she had to leave the premises with the baby in order to not have the baby taken. But that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think it's more fighting, the family fighting, and there's a domestic situation. The police come, and they usually try to get one person in the family to leave to stop the fighting. And I believe when they did that she decided that she was going to leave because the mother wanted her gone. And it's them blaming the family, which would make sense, because now we know that the kids were seen with a family member. What family member? Did Malaya ever see the kids come back, or was she asleep?
I mean, she saw what happened with the kids. I'm sorry. There's no way that she would be mirroring his story to a T if the kids just simply didn't come back the day before or the morning of. They would simply say the kids were taken and I hadn't seen them since yesterday.
Yeah.
Why would they make up? And I think the bio mom of Malaya said that the kids were last seen the night before at 8 p.m. So her mom, I bet, had the kids. That makes a lot more sense. It's all coming together. I'm looking at all these
I don't
pictures.
think it's Malaya's mom, or she wouldn't be blaming the family. We'll see though. We'll see. Either way, some family members involved in this. This is something on the inside of this family unit, and it's just going to be a matter of time before all that comes out. Now, tell me what y'all think about the new update in the comment box down below. What family member do you think's involved? Let me know who you think is involved in the disappearance of these kids in the comment box down below. I'm going to get ready to get out of here so me and PJ can get some dinner. And then, of course, I will be back tonight. I actually got another video that I'm going to drop some point tonight. But I will be back most likely around 10 o'clock for my late night Dolly Vision show. So make sure you guys tune in and be on the lookout for another video. It's a little bit still important, but some things have changed, but the video is already together. So I'm going to go ahead and just drop that video, but it deals with the timeline of what has transpired since they got Daniel's phone.
Why are people still saying she's on an Indian reservation?
She's not on an Indian reservation.
And her dad is the one that's got the Indian reservation blood or the background. And he was incarcerated, I believe, until recently. So she's not as invested in that whole, like, they're not going to step in to protect her if she's like hiding the kids.
I don't think so. She ain't hiding the kids anyway. That would be, I mean, it's possible, but I doubt it. I really highly doubt it. But I'm getting out of here, guys. Let me know who you think is responsible in the comment box down below. And I will see you guys in a little while. Remember this, if nobody else does, Dolly loves you. Peace.